Hey everyone, let's see, we are live. Let's go ahead and let me know if you guys can hear me okay, and let me know if you can see everything on my screen. Hey John, how's it going? Let's see. Gonna wait for a couple people to join. How's it going? We're going to be getting started. Let's see, actually, let's do a display capture instead. Yes. There we go. That should be a little bit better. Should be able to see my mouse now. There we go. How's everyone doing today? Just gonna wait a couple minutes just to get started. If you guys have any precursor questions, go ahead and let me know in the chat, and I will go ahead and get those answered. Hey Mark, how's it going? You can actually see my mouse now that I actually have this set up correctly. Let's see. Go ahead and be sure to share this in whichever groups you wish, so that we can get a little bit of an audience going. I'm doing very well, Mark. Thanks for asking. Let's see. We're gonna go ahead. We got a couple people on here. Go ahead and share this in a couple places. Got a couple people. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually start from a server, and we're going to go ahead and install WordPress using Cloudways, set up a subdomain so that we can actually work on it, and then we'll go ahead and get started with building using Astra and Elementor Page Builder. And then from there, like I said, if you guys have any questions while we're building, there's going to be a pretty long live, so you can come in, leave, and come back as you wish. And the video will be live. The video will be here for you guys once we go ahead and conclude the video and we're finished building the website. And of course, I will put a link to the website in the chat. If you guys want to follow along with me live, you can see all of the changes once we go ahead and get that subdomain set up, so that you guys can see that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here in just about 30 seconds or so. Gonna get started. That's my first YouTube live video. It's actually pretty easy to work with. I wish it was as easy as Facebook makes it. Increase the volume a bit. Yeah, sure, I can go ahead and do that. I am speaking kind of low. I'm also having my head turned away from the microphone, so that probably doesn't help. Alright, how's that for you, John? Does that sound better? Worse? The same? Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. People can join in as they wish. So we're going to go ahead and install a installation of WordPress on a Cloudways server. So I already have my server set up. We're going to do this underneath of the development server. So I'm going to go ahead and click this plus button up here. And sorry, I don't have a highlighter for my mouse. So yeah. Add application right here. We're going to go drop down and click on the development server and click add application. From here, we're going to select the WordPress version 4.9.5, and this is going to be Liberty Lawn Care. This is the name of the company. So this is an actual website that somebody has booked me for, and this is just taking the perfect opportunity right now to show you guys how to build a simple website. This is only going to be a four or 5 page website. That's going to have your simple about, home, contact, services, maybe a testimonial spot, things like that. We're going to go through getting stock images. I'm going to put in a bunch of filler word just so I can go back and get the content from the client, and they'll go ahead and give me all of that. But for right now, we're just going to use filler word. Okay, good. Thanks, John. I'm glad it's better volume. So we're going to use filler word, stock images, things like that. I may use some Adobe ones with the watermark on it just so that I can have a placeholder so that we can go through this as quick as possible, because it's still going to be a lengthy video. So right now we're just waiting on our WordPress to install with Cloudways, and it's very simple to go ahead and do all of that. I'm going to go ahead and off screen, we're going to set up my Cloudflare because that's where I have everything. So we're just going to go over here to the Liberty Lawn Care, go over to our domain management. So right now I have all of my websites on the subdomain of wpdevurl.com, and so this is a generic domain name that I purchased so that I can use this as a subdomain so that I can go ahead and have links to send to my client so they don't look like this, because my clients are never going to remember that. I'm never going to remember that. So remembering this is a lot easier. So I go ahead and I just put the primary domain name as this. Let me go ahead over to my Cloudflare off screen, and I'm going to set up a subdomain. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to bring the screen over in just a second. So 1 second. So right now this is updating the primary domain name. Let me switch back here, and we're going to go ahead and wait a couple seconds for this. It doesn't take very long for Cloudways to do this, so it's rather simple. After this, we're also going to install an SSL on the website as well. So let's go to our access, the domain name, go over here to my server, and underneath the development server we have our IP address. So from there, let's go ahead and navigate back to our Liberty Lawn Care. Alright, let's go ahead and I'm going to drag over my Cloudflare. So we've got that. So as you can see, I have quite a few of them. So I'm just going to do Liberty as a subdomain and then my IP address right there. So all we have to do is just hit add record. And this is all underneath of my domain name right here at the top left hand corner. So you'll see that. So that's done. That's already taken into effect. So right now we have this, and if we just go ahead and click on this, it will take us to our installation that we have of WordPress clean, and then at the top you see our domain name, liberty.wpdevurl.com. From here we're going to go into our SSL, and I'm going to use my email And I'm just going to type in the entire domain name without the HTTP, or and no trailing slash either. And then all you have to do is just click install certificate. You want to make sure that you can actually access your domain name first before installing this, otherwise it won't work. So this can take a minute or so. We're going to go ahead and wait for that to install, and just so we can wait for that, like I said, we have our clean website right here. We're not going to log in yet. And so you're probably wondering, what's the design going to look like? Well, I have a couple different things. So I usually go through a few different websites to look and see what the topic of website that I'm building, what they do. So I'll go through, see what kind of features they add, what their main homepage looks like, their landing page, go through their subpages to see what those look like, things like that. I also use ThemeForest as a reference for a bunch. I mean, basically, it's just a huge portfolio that you can go through, look at, take bits and pieces from other websites, and from there you can go ahead and take little pieces of them and piece them together for your own website, so that you can have a unique looking website. And you're not completely copying somebody else's website, because no one likes to do that. And then, I mean, if you take bits and pieces from it and kind of make a Franken-site, you can do something along those lines. So our SSL should be installing pretty soon, and once we do that, I'll go through the process on the back end in order to get that going. So we have it installed and we have our credentials here. So I'm going to log into our website, and from here I'm going to go ahead and log in there. So now we have our blank WordPress installation. I want to go ahead and get my SSL going, because right now we still don't have that green padlock. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate to Settings and General. And then I'm going to add an S to those. And while I'm on this page, I usually change the time zones and the week starts on, just out of habit. So once we do that, we're going to have to re-log into the site. And everything should be good to go. So we have our green padlock up here, and we're 100% good to go. I always suggest putting the SSL on the website before you start building it, because if you don't, then you're going to have a lot of search and replace to do with a plugin, and that just adds extra time to your building process, and anything that adds time is not good. Okay, so we're pretty much done on the server. Go ahead and get rid of that. We have our, like I said, a clean installation of WordPress with our HTTPS SSL installed. This is all blank. So let's just go ahead and get started with a few quick plugins that I usually like to add to a site immediately. Go to our themes, and of course I'm going to search for Astra. I'm going to have to add new, I forget. Sorry about that. Add new. Search for Astra. Let's install and activate this theme. Now normally I also do a child theme, so let's go ahead and add that as well while I'm already here. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to generate a child theme from Astra's website, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a new one. It's not necessary for you to have a child theme on your site, but I know that I might make some changes later on, and taking this extra 2 seconds to activate a child theme really doesn't make any difference. I like to get rid of the default themes, because it's just another way for someone to get into your website. So I don't need those there, so I get rid of them. So we have Astra Child and Astra Theme here. Yeah, Mark, definitely SSL is definitely a good idea to do it first. Less work later on. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a couple of plugins. We're going to search for Elementor. Let's go ahead and do that and install. And while that's installing on that window, I'm going to download Elementor off screen from my account. While we're in the plugin section, I delete these stock ones, the Akismet. I won't need that on this site. Hello Dolly, I don't know why they install that stuff on your website on WordPress. I don't understand why it's there. I'm deactivating Breeze, which is my caching plugin that comes with my hosting, because it's good to not have caching turned on when you have when you're building your website. So let's go ahead and add a new plugin, and I'm going to upload the pro version of Elementor. And I know I'm going to need it because I need to do a contact form. All right, there we go. Let's see, off screen, I'm going to activate my license. Just 1 second. All right, there we go. So we have Astra and we have Elementor and Elementor Pro installed on our site. So now we can start looking for some inspiration to get our website to look the way we want it to look. So like I said, I usually go to ThemeForest, and I'm building a lawn care service site. So I will search for lawn care. And now I'm not specifically looking for WordPress sites. I'm looking underneath of their entire web themes and templates, because it doesn't necessarily have to be WordPress, because A, I'm not buying a theme because I already have a great one, and B, you're not limited to just WordPress elements with this, because in HTML you can build whatever you want. So you can always take what they've got and look at some of their features that they have, and you can go from there. So I normally go through here, I'll look through the sites, I'll preview them, see what they look like, and I did this last week and I found a few that I like. So this comes with 5 different options that you can choose from, that we're going to take a look at. This one also has a great looking site. I love how it has the transparent header with the slider right here. This specifically caught my eye, this section, this big green section right here. How they have their headings with the dividers and the text, their icons, things of that nature look really good. And doing something like this where you have your half and half and then you have your single background image right there. Some videos that they have in their galleries, so this is a great way to do a portfolio. And then we have their blog that they have, which I'm not going to have a blog on this site. Meet the Team, I won't have one of those on this site. Testimonials, pretty simple. This comes with Elementor. And then of course their footer looks really nice. I like how they have incorporated this overlay right here with their call to action. Mark, that's a good idea, because for some reason this index.php always happens with all of this. So yeah, you're right. It's good to set your permalinks before you start building any pages. Like I said, I'm not sure why they do this. Just go to post name. I always use post name and I just save it. And then I'll just save it one more time, because for some reason you're supposed to save it twice. So I'll go from there and I save it twice. Good look on that one. Yeah. I don't think it took. No, it did. We're good. So from there, and then we have this right here, we have all of this right there. So we're good to go. Like I said, so right here, and then we have some other pages that you can look at. So you can look at their services page. They have this smaller hero image up here. The services, why choose us. So they have this 3-column split right here. Now I'm not looking at content. I'm not looking at their wording or anything like that. I'm seeing how they laid all of this out. So they have 3 columns with a single column here. And then they always have this call to action at the bottom, which is a great idea, and it's very easy to put one of those in with Elementor. This one's more unique because this has a 5-column section up here, image, 3 of the contents for their contact, and then a button. Then they have a full width nav up here, parallax slider, 3 columns, very simple with a small hover effect. And then they have, this one's a more simple site right here, and then a request an estimate over here, so something along those lines. So those are obviously light boxes, poor light boxes. And then they have some more call to action stuff down here at the bottom, and then of course their testimonials. So this one's more of a simple site to look at. This one, they should have images above here. Let's go right there. Okay, so yeah, so we've got a couple of ideas that we want to go with. I think I'm going to go with a header that looks something similar to this one, just to keep it simple, because doing something like this, where you have this, it could always misfunction if they don't have the native capability built into your theme or anything like that. So let's go ahead and get started with our header. So from here, I've got Elementor Pro installed, so we can go ahead and create our first template, and we're going to create a header. Global header is what I normally call it. Create a template. So we have a few of them to choose from up here, and this one right here seems to be the one that relates most to what we're going to do. In fact, it looks exactly like the one we're going to do here. So I'm going to go ahead and insert this. Okay, so we have all of this, and now we want to go ahead and match our branding, because our branding is more green than it has blue. So I'm going to, what I normally do is I'll go over here to the color picker, and we have our 8 colors to choose from. I like to take it from the logo that we have built, and I like to go ahead and use those. So I will go ahead and take this green, and I will put it here, and then this red. So like I said, I just copy and paste from the actual logo that was designed for the company, so that we can go ahead and get an exact match for color schemes. And it's great to do this at first, because it takes a couple seconds and you'll be done before you know it, and that way you can just reference them at any time and you don't have to worry about it. Alright, that's all the colors for here, these up here, and now I'm going to do my simple colors, my black and white, and then some colors that I reference a lot, just some light shades. Let's do a darker version. So I've got these 8 colors that I normally reference for those. So the top 4 are going to be my branding colors, and the bottom 4 are going to be colors that are used quite often. Actually, I don't want that to be a black. Let's make that a very light black. And we're going to go ahead and apply those. And then from there we have our default colors. So the primary, I want my primary headers to be that color. Secondary could be this color. I want my text to be that dark, and then the accents, of course, we could do it like that. So let's go ahead and modify this header to fit our branding. So from here we're going to go ahead and style all of this. Go to our content, our colors. So I want this to be this color right here. And then we have the same thing here. So let's go ahead and change this main color. Let's see about these images. So for these images, these are all icons. We can go ahead and change those to be whichever fits our branding. You're more than welcome to upload your own as well, so that it matches your actual branding. If you create ones that for yourself, you can go ahead and upload those. So something along those lines. We may go back and change that later on. And then we have our navigation section. So let's go ahead and change the color of this. And then we have our border. Let's go ahead and change our border. And actually, I want the background to be a little bit more of that blue that we have. Now this menu is not working because we don't have a menu on our site yet. Our client is not going to be doing any social media. I know, crazy. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of that section. And for right now, I'm going to go ahead and leave this header as it is, and we're going to definitely come back to it before we're done. So Mark, normally it's a toss-up. If I know what I'm looking for, then I'll do the header first. But if I don't, then I will build the home page, and then I will build the header before I move on to anything else. I have to do the header after I do the home page, or before doing the home page. But it needs to be done before you do the rest of the content. Otherwise, you won't be able to build your content around the header like you should. So it's a toss-up. This time I'm doing my header first. Next time I'll do my header second probably. So it depends on the site for me. Let's go ahead and add another plugin. Let's do bulk page. This is going to allow me to add a bunch of pages so that I don't have to go through the whole WordPress, add a page, name it, things like that. So I'll just go ahead and use this to do a bulk page creator. I need a home, about us, contact us, services. So I'll go ahead and add these without any spaces in between them. Make sure the multi-pages mode is turned on. And from there, I will go ahead and get the templates to be default and parent none. So just leave everything the way that it is here. And we'll go ahead and update the site. Mark, also, I don't think I addressed your second question. The site settings, the topography, and things like that. So normally, when you have Elementor and Astra installed, Astra will automatically go full width on all the pages that Elementor is built on. So if you go right here, you'll see this is not full width because this is our blog archive. And as I mentioned before, we won't have a blog, so it's not really a huge problem. But if we go to our pages that we just made, and go to the home page and view that, you'll see that this is not full width still. So if I edit this page, edit this with Elementor, you can see right now that it's full width. So any page that you build with Elementor in Astra will automatically be full width, and that's a feature of the theme. So you don't always have to go through and set all of your site widths and things of that nature. I have not gone into my appearance. I'm going to go ahead and do that next because I need to have my icon, my images, my logo and my color set for my buttons and things of that nature. There's very limited things that we do in underneath of the customizer because we are using Elementor. So we have the home page. So let's go ahead and set up a quick menu. And we're going to name this main menu. Let's go ahead and select all of our pages that we want, add to the menu. Let's go ahead and order these how we want them to be ordered. There we go. Maybe this is our primary menu. So we have the home, about, services, and contact us. So now that we have our menu, we can actually see our menu live on our website. And I'm going to go ahead and fix all this up as well. Let's go to Customizer underneath of Appearance, because right now we're going to go ahead and give our website some identity. Underneath of Site Identity, we're going to attach a logo. But before we do this, I usually upload an SVG logo, and this is a vector. It's a version of a vector that you can upload to your website. So I'm going to need to install a plugin, and yes, I know this can be done with a couple lines of code, but I don't have the code handy. So I'm going to use a plugin. It's SVG, and I usually use this one right here, the SVG support. This is the most simple one that I've found. All it is it's adding that code to your site. Nothing more. So under Customize, we can now go to Site Layout and click on the Select Logo. I'm going to grab my logo. And I have it right here. So there's my logo, it's an SVG, and it uploads. If you don't have the plugin enabled, that's going to give you an error saying you can't upload or anything like that. I'm going to skip cropping my image because I don't need that, and then I'm going to do my Retina logo the same, just because, I mean, it's a Retina version of a logo anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but just have two or else it's going to appear empty on one of your devices. Let's see, logo width won't matter here because we're controlling this with the header. Your site title, you can go ahead and change that here, Liberty Lawn Care and Saw. And then I'm going to get rid of that. So we have that there. Display, site tagline, no. Inline logo and site title, no. We don't need any of that. Site icon, I do that with a plugin, so we don't need any of that. Layout, like I said, I don't have to mess with the layout because Elementor takes care of all of that for me. Colors and background, base colors. This is where you can set all of your base colors for that. Let's go ahead and set those. I'm going to grab the color from my Elementor page builder that we have. So under here we have our color picker. And so basically my theme color, I want that to be this light green. I want my links to be this color as well. Text color, that's fine because we're already controlling that. Background, don't need a background. Let's go down to buttons right here. Button text color, let's do that as a white. We might change that to black later on. Button text hover and button background, we're going to go ahead and make it that green as well. And like I said, we might change the text color later because it might be too hard to read. And I don't want any radius on my buttons. Padding's fine, that's all good to go. Hey John, so basically the logo right here was created inside of a vector program, Illustrator. And in order to get this to an SVG, all you have to do is go to File, Save As, and then you just select SVG. And then from there, you have a few different settings that you can choose from up here. So I always make sure that the image location is embedded. And then there is a couple different options up here, 1.1, type SVG. Basically just screenshot with this and you can go ahead and you can also try something different. You can actually do a web optimized one, but this one's only 80 kilobytes, so it's the size is not relevant at all to your loading size for your website. So this is where I create SVGs. There might be an online tool that you can upload something and create an SVG, but since this logo was designed in Illustrator, I went ahead and just opened my AI file up and I just made an SVG out of it. Alrighty, so we have our buttons done. We don't need to worry about anything else because we're not going to be using Customizer. The homepage settings, let's set that to be our homepage. This can be done on the back end of WordPress as well, but since we're already in here, we can go ahead and just do it there. Alright, let's go ahead and published, and we're going to get rid of Customizer. So underneath the settings and then rating, you can also set your home page here. So that's where you can go ahead and do that. Underneath of our dashboard, we have all of that set up. We go to our home page here and we see that we have no content. So like I said earlier, we're going to be adjusting the logo because it's only 120 pixels wide, and that is not wide enough for this logo because it's such a wide and narrow logo. Also, we're going to go back and change this because I don't like that anymore. So we're going to go ahead and fix this header later on. Let's edit inside of our home page. Let's refresh this real quick. Okay, so we've got our header and then we have our content. So right now they have their slider right here, and we're not going to use the rest of this. So I think I'm going to do a slider for the first section of the website just because I'm not a fan of sliders, because I used to have to use Slider Revolution, and it's just so hard to get your slider to look the way you want with that. But with Elementor, they have a great slides element that helps you get rid of all the headache, and I love using that a lot more. So Let's go ahead and use our slider. I want to make this full width, so I'm going to go ahead and edit this section and go from content width from boxed to full width. You see right here we have a little bit of a white gap. We're going to go ahead and change that from default to no gap. That's going to get rid of that. Underneath of our slider, we want to go ahead and give this more of a height, so let's do 600 pixels just to give it some more height into that. This gap right here will not be there when it's live. It's just there to give you some space so that you can edit right here with your blue bar. And then we have our headings. So this is going to be a great way to start about stock images and where you can get stock images. So I have a subscription to Adobe, for 2 subscriptions actually, Creative Cloud and their stock images monthly. So I get so many images that I pay for 10, 20 bucks I think a month, and I can get like 20 images per month. I'm not sure what I get. But I can do that here, or there is a website called unsplash.com, and from there you can go ahead and search free high resolution images to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and then have those right there. Those are the 2 links that you guys can go ahead and use to get some images. If you go to Unsplash, it depends on what they have. Sometimes they have good images of the subject you're looking for because they have a specific look on their site. Everything's kind of like creative. It's like a creative shot. So it all depends on the look that you're looking for your website. They do have some good ones here that we could use. So I definitely think I will. I think I want to go back up to the top and use some of these, because this will be good if we have this, have our text over here on the left hand side. We can do that. This is a great picture of just some blank grass, so let's go ahead and do that as well. Let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and close down Adobe Illustrator, so I'm not going to save this. And while that's closing, I'm going to go ahead and open up Photoshop. Now, Photoshop you don't have to use. I'm just going to use this to scale my images down so that they are more web friendly. But there are other tools that I'll show you guys that you guys can use to do that. Okay, so we have that grass pick, and I want to try and use this one as well. There's some more up here if you want to use. I think I'm only going to use slides on and text align this to the left. Okay, let's go ahead and edit our slides. So this is slide number 1. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this background. And let's go ahead and downsize these images. So we'll open up our images and downloads, and I just click and drag it right into Photoshop. And it opens it. So we've got that. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to export this. There's a couple different things you could do here. Right now I use the export and save for web, and it says it's a legacy, which I'm thinking that they're going to eventually get rid of this feature, which stinks because I use it all the time. So I use a save for web legacy, and once this pops up, I change this to a JPEG. Just make sure this is a JPEG up here. And then we have a couple of settings that we're going to look for. And this looks a little overwhelming, but it's really nothing big. The image size, if I'm doing a background image, I make it 1920 wide. I don't care what the height is, I just make it 1920 wide. If I'm doing content images, so if it's images that are going to be inside of the content next to text and things like that, I usually do 900 pixels wide because you're not going to need anything bigger than that for desktops. And for smartphones, it's going to scale it down, so you'll be fine there. So I do 1920 for background images, and then I'll do 900 for image size for content. Now we can see down here our size of our JPEG right here. So we have 412, which is pretty big. So if we change this to progressive, and we can also lower this down to whatever we want to do. So there's a couple different options we can choose from there. And if we have this down to 266, which isn't horrible, you want to keep it down underneath of a megabyte per page. That's what I try and do at least. So, but then you see you're losing all of this quality. But I'm going to also have a background overlay, so it may not make a difference. If you look right here in this section, you see all of this blurry. If you go to maximum, you can see the complete difference and how it's not pixelating it. So if I go from maximum to low, you can see it just downgrades the quality a lot. So if I go to medium, that's a happy middle. 406, I have another way that I can lower this down. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Liberty Lawn slider. No, Liberty Lawn grass green cut. Kind of putting in some keywords in here as well. Go ahead and put that on my desktop. From there, go back here and we're going to go to a website called tinypng.com. Going to go ahead and load up our image, drag and drop this here, the one that we just saved from Photoshop. So we're going to go ahead and get down from 416 to 401. Didn't do a lot. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, depending on how optimized your image already is. But it's always worth a shot to go ahead and run that through there. This is a completely free program. Anything under 5 megabytes for an image, it does very well. Let's go ahead and add our image and insert our media. So as you can see, it doesn't look that bad for being a medium. So we can go ahead and do that. A couple of different options. We have our size, so we can cover, contain, and auto, which I always like to leave on cover. The Ken Burns effect, you can have it so that it does the movement. It's a very popular effect to do in videos, but I'm just going to turn that off. And then we have the background overlay effect, which I am going to turn on. It makes it a little bit darker, but if you go ahead and just lighten up the opacity a little bit, then it looks pretty decent. You can also use a different color. Doesn't have to be black. It could be the navy that you're using, or the blue, or black, whatever you guys want to do. So go ahead and do that. And then from there, I'm just going to leave this as it is, the heading and things like that. For number 2, let's go ahead and do the same thing that we did with the other one. We have that image that we downloaded. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when we go ahead and just run it through Tiny without optimizing it in Photoshop. We can't, because it's 8.7 megabytes. So let's go ahead and take this in Photoshop, open this up. And there's another way we can do this. So we did the save for web earlier, but if that option ever goes away, we would have to use something different. We can go from image to image size and scale this down to 1920. The resolution was 72. That's fine. Just keep it as it is. Hit OK. And then we have File, Export as. And then we have our size over here, 3.5 megabytes. We want to keep this as a JPEG, and then we can go ahead and scale this down to however much we wish. So as you get 603 kilobytes now, we can always scale it down. So the more you scale it down, the smaller the file size will be. You can also go ahead and crop this down so that it is not as tall. So let's go ahead and do this one. Make this completely wide. From here, kind of just bring that down to about the slider size. If we do that, it greatly reduces the amount of the size of it. So now we have 764. We're at a medium resolution and only 343 kilobytes. So that's always a great way to do that. So let's go ahead and save this. imageoptim.com. Okay, all right. I'll go ahead and see what that's all about in this video. Liberty Lawn Grass. Just name it whatever we want. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and run that through. Desktop. Yeah, there it is. Run that through here just to make sure we can't do it anymore. And it wasn't even, I'm not even going to re-upload it. So we'll go ahead and do this, and we'll have it go ahead and upload that to our site. And then we have our second one. We'll go ahead and add that overlay effect. Go ahead and slide this down. So now we have our slider right here. We have slider 1 and slider 2. So pretty simple to do something like that. Let's see what you've got. imageoptim.com. Alright, cool. So this is a program that you download on your site. I'm sorry, on your computer, and you can go ahead and optimize it from there. So I'll go ahead and try this out, see what this is all about, and I can let you guys know the results that I receive. Go ahead and try it. It's free. I'm sure they have it for the PC as well. It's just loading a Mac on my computer because I have a Mac, so that's where it's loading. Thanks, Manny. So let's go ahead and stick to this. So I always go back and reference the sites that I'm looking at just to see what they've got to offer. So the next spot would be our services. So we can go ahead and link some of our services that we have below underneath of our slider. We'll add a new section. It's going to be a single column section, and I'll show you a little trick that I'm going to do in just a minute. So for the section, I like to add margins above and below. I like to do 50 pixels above and below. Let's go ahead to our heading and type in our services. Center this up. Keep this as an H2. Yeah, keep that as an H2. Our text and title, things like that. So now let's go through and work on our fonts, because we haven't had to do fonts until now. Oh, they don't have a PC version. Okay, well, that's a bummer. So for your Mac users, you can go ahead and use that. So let's go ahead and work on our fonts. So as you can see on our logo, we have more of a serif font. So we can go ahead and match that. Let's go ahead to our default fonts. And let's go to Google Fonts website just so that we can show you the availability of some fonts that they have inside of the repo inside of Elementor. So from here you can go ahead and search over here on the right hand side some categories. So if you're looking for those, you can go ahead and do that. So we do want to have a serif font. And then from there we can go ahead and actually type in where all of these words are. We can type in our own words. And we can apply that to all the fonts. So we can see what looks best with our site before we go ahead and add it there. So I want to go ahead and have something similar to, I like this, the cormorant, and then this one as well. I also like this one. It matches it a little bit. So from here you can go ahead and navigate throughout all of their fonts. This one looks nice. I like that one as well to match. They all look basically the same except for some thicknesses. So let's see. I think I might stick with this, the IBM Plex Serif. Let's see if this one is in here. There it is. So we've gone ahead and done that. Then let's see if we can change the font weight. Yes, we can. So we can go ahead and change the font weight of our font there. So I want to go ahead and stick with the 400. Let's go ahead and do the IBM again here. For the body text, let's go ahead and do something similar to the lawn care and saw. I typically go with the Montserrat. I don't know what it's called. but this is one of my favorite fonts, so I like to use those. And you can see it down here underneath of the click here. That's where it's applying it. So it's all over the paragraphs and the text and things like that. Let's see. Okay, so we have the R services. We can apply that. Let's go ahead and add some text here. I have a text generator up here at the top right hand corner in my Chrome extensions. Not sure what it's called, but I go ahead and I just use this. There's a bunch of extensions you can use inside of Chrome, so I would suggest looking at that. Let's see. I'm having an issue over here in my editor. It's so funny, I've never had any issues, and now that I'm doing a live video, I seem to have issues. Take 1 second break. Am I getting a conflict? Just a little bit. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Getting a conflict with, is it with the slider? Let's see. A lot of JS errors. Let me check my Cloudflare to make sure that's all good. Go ahead and also check for a plugin conflict. Let's deactivate this one, which I shouldn't have a plugin conflict because I've used these plugins before. Let's see. Okay, that wants to load now. Let's go ahead and edit that with Elementor. Alright, seems like we had an issue. We still have an issue a little bit, but we'll address that later. So we've gone ahead and we've got this, some text right here. There we go. This is just some filler text that we have. So we'll go ahead and center align this. Go to divider. Let's add a divider to this. Let's make it 3. I like to do a pixel width instead of a percentage width, just because it's more consistent. And we'll center align that. Make it that green that we have. And from there, I like to do a negative margin just to bring it up a bit. Take off this gap so that we can see what it looks like, just like that. Not sure if this is the right venue, but why are you using Elementor for Cornerstone? I used to use Cornerstone. I used to use X and Pro religiously, but the stability of Cornerstone, I know saying that after I just had a problem with Elementor, but the stability of Cornerstone, and there's just a lot of different reasons. I prefer Elementor. They have a lot more features over Cornerstone, especially with the themer and things like that, so I want to stick with Elementor just because it has more features, in my opinion. So in order to achieve this look, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can do a section right here, and then you can do another section below with 2-3 column setups. Now you can also do a one section, and then you can insert a column below. I can't get it in there because of my spacing. Let's go ahead and, that's a problem with doing some negative margins sometimes with the spacing. So we have the icon box. Let's go ahead and drag that over there. And I'm going to go ahead and left align it just like those. They had it over here on the site. We're kind of going off of what we have here. Go ahead and close these down a little bit. So we have this. We have, actually I don't want to use an icon box. I want to use an image box. because I want to upload my own images. So we have our heading, service 1, then we have some descriptions right there. For the style, I want to have the content vertically aligned in the middle, so I want to do that. And then the content, I want to go ahead and drop this size of the title down to about 1920. And then we'll drop the description down to about 16. Nope. What about, that's too small for me. 15, and we'll go back up a little bit here. 25. So we'll do that. And we're going to go ahead and duplicate this into our columns. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go ahead and duplicate that. So we have 6. Let's add a margin to the top of this. And we have all of our services. So service 2, service 3, service 4. I don't even know if they have 6 services, but I'm going to make up 6 services. So from here, we can go ahead and upload our icons. Now, for icons, I usually use flaticon.com if I don't make them myself. So from here, they have a lot of different options. You can even see some of the ones that they have down here. All of these are they are for free. You can give the creator some credit, and then they also have premium ones as well. So if I search for lawn care, let's see if they have anything. No, so I'll just search for lawn if I can do that, or even search for grass. So there's different ones there. So they offer a few different services. So obviously they offer grass cutting. So I want these to be multicolor so that they have some color to them. Let's go ahead and get more in depth with the lawnmower. Let's see if any of these really match the branding. And what we can do is we can always download these and change them up in our program as well. So we can always have that option. Let's go ahead and add this one. Let me remove the other 2 that I was using for another project. Let's do a shovel. That always will look good. So we'll have a shovel. This one kind of matches the other icons we have. Let's do something else. So leaf. Let's do a leaf. Add that one. We'll do a leaf blowing. Something along those lines. We'll have this one. We'll do a rake. Let's see. Does this one match? Yeah, we'll do something along those. So we have 5 now. What else does a lawn care company take care of? Landscape, garden care, watering, lawn renovation, spring, fall cleanup. So they're just using generic icons. You can see that right here. So we'll do a plant. Yeah, we'll just do a plant. So from here, we'll do a plant. Let's see if we can find a nice one. This works. We'll do that. So we'll go ahead and download all of these as an SVG. Now, since we have the SVG plugin installed, I like to use SVG as much as possible, lightweight, and we'll just go ahead and keep them all lightweight from there. Let's see. For the services, so let's go ahead and add our images underneath of the services. The My Collections comes with the SVG, all of your SVGs right here, and you can see over here the size, very small in comparison to doing an actual image. So We'll have those. We'll upload all those here. A blower. Yep, I got a blower. So we got that one right here. So let's go ahead and add some of these images. We have this service. We have this one. And from here, we'll just add all of our icons. Rake and plant. Alright, so we've got all of our services here. Now, you can have your image position wherever you want. It could look better here. It could look better here. You can also change the image size and the width of here. So you can always do that. Make those however big you want. I messed up. Let's try this again. I couldn't reverse it, so let's just copy and paste it back over here. Let's do that. So we have those, and then we always have the options to do our image size full. You have control of your H tag. Let's do the style. So we have all of our style options here, top, middle, and bottom aligned. And then our image, we have all of those options to do the width, spacing, things of that nature. So I'll probably come back and fine tune these a little bit later on. So let's go ahead and add another section below. In this section, so I don't like to have too much white space on the page. So I'll do a white section and then I'll do a colored background section just to keep it interesting. Because otherwise, people are going to get bored on just a completely blank website. You can also add an image background to this if you want to, like a subtle pattern or something. And there's a website called subtlepatterns.com, which is really good if you want to do, let's see if they have a leaf one. Nah, that's too many leaves for me. So you can always do a pattern in your background if you want to do that. Something light, something that's not too distracting. Those would be good. Maybe something like this and have the opacity down a little bit. They have pages upon pages actually. Oh, their leaf one was a new one that they just submitted. Something like this could be pretty cool. But they have a bunch of different options that you can search for. Some lightweight ones like this with dust and scratches would look pretty good. And then if you pair that with a background image, a background color, it would look really good. So if we did the background color, if we did the background image and we clicked and dragged this right into here, insert this, you can see we have this right here. So we can actually increase the size of our background, and you can see that it just patterned it all over. And if we go to a background overlay, we can have a light green color, whatever you guys want to do for that. So those are your options there. So there's plenty of options if you want to do different color backgrounds with and without a color overlay. So I'm going to stick with just green for now. We could come back and change that later if we need to. HeroPatterns.com. Mark the pattern website. Let me do that. Subtle patterns. There you go. HeroPatterns.com. HeroPatterns.com. Sorry, I'm off screen right for the second. Looking at this. Yeah, these are pretty cool. These are good patterns. And you can change the background colors. That's a really good website. I like it. Good find. Okay, so we've got this. We've got our background color selected. Let's go ahead and add a heading in there. Maybe we didn't select a background color. There we go. Add our heading in there, and then we can have 2 columns set up. We can have an image right over there. Let's add some padding to the top and bottom of our section. So from here, we're going to go back to our website that we've been referencing and see what they've got. So we are Gardner. You can do something like we are Liberty. Hear me roar. Then you have your content and then some of the stuff that they take care of with a background image. You can do that. Let's see. Let's see. We can type in something here. Add your headline. We'll put that there for now until I think of something clever. Then we have our type size. So we don't want this to be too big and in your face, but we want it to be big enough for them to see. We'll have that here. And actually, you know what? I'm going to show you guys how to get this look. So let's go through that. So we have our background image. Let's go ahead and swap this out. We're going to put our background image here. So let's go and find another one. For this one, I might go to Unsplash. And we're going to type in lawn. Oh, let's do lawnmower. See if they have anything for lawnmower. Okay, this isn't bad right here. Let's do this one. Open our Photoshop. We're going to there. So this is the lawn mowing Liberty Lawn. So we've got that. Go up here and let's add our background image. And drag that in there. Insert the media. Let's go ahead and change our position to be the center, scroll, no repeat, and cover. Something like that. So we've got this. So we have our image there. So let's go ahead and set an overlay. And this is where it gets not tricky, but pretty clever. You're going to set this to a gradient. You're going to set this to be white with a background opacity of 0. Second color, we're going to make this the green. And then we're going to make this linear. We're going to make this at a 90-degree angle. I'm sorry. Let's do this at 270. Yeah, 270 is pointing to the right. And then we'll do locations. You can change your location here. And then we'll do the location for this one. We'll make this at 100 and make this come over. Let's see, where is it? Opacity. Yep, right there. Something along those lines. And then this location of 0. So something like that. Go ahead and do that. Lower this opacity just a smidge. And then we can go ahead and have our words there. So we'll have our, what they did, what did they do over here? They had the words over here and there's just a blank image over here. So let's go ahead and replicate that. Have our words over here, make those white, completely white. And then we have our text. We have that, let's make that white. And then we have the list. So they had an icon list here. So it's always pretty cool to be able to add that. Let's get rid of these and duplicate these. We'll have those there. We'll make these icons white. The text, we'll make that white as well. For the icon, we're going to go ahead and increase the size of this to 20, and then we'll increase the text size to 20 as well. We'll maybe make that a little bit smaller, 18. We'll go ahead and do that. So we have the option of doing that. We can also go ahead and make them inline or stacked, whichever one you prefer. If we do that, we can actually make this so we have 6 of them. That would be pretty cool. And then we can make the space between larger or smaller. We can go ahead and do that. Left, center, and right align, which we don't need to do. We can do a divider between them. So those are the options available for that. So this is still a little too close for me. Let me go ahead and make this change. Let's decrease the opacity of that a little bit. Make the location a little bit further over. You can see that we start to get a little bit of a gradient there, but if we knock that back some, we can go ahead and choose our location there, 0, increase this. So we have those options here. There we go. And if we view this, this is what it looks like. So we have the background image, we have half colored, half not colored. Now, on mobile and tablets, it could get a little wonky if you want to say the least, as you can see. So use this with caution. If you do something like this, maybe use CSS to do some different locations for your gradient. I wish they had a preview size, a responsive mode for the locations. That would be pretty cool to be able to do something like that, because I would have it all the way over like that for mobile. So in order to do that, you would have to use some CSS in order to get it to look correctly on both the tablet and the mobile. But other than that, it looks pretty cool. For your background, you can go ahead and change this so that it's top center instead, so it's a little bit more mower, or bottom center so that it's a lot less mower and just grass. Depends on however you want your image. There are different options for you to do that. Professional lawn care. I found my clever title. How clever is that? Let's increase the size a little bit. So we have something like that. So there we go. This is a good looking section that we have. We have our slider, our services, professional lawn care. Let's add a button so people can actually contact us. Get your free quotes. There we go. And this is going to go to our contact page. I can't type. Go to style. Let's do our text color as white. Let's do our background color as none. Border, let's make this solid with a width of 2. Border radius off. And our color will be white. So there we go. Our hover, we can go ahead and change this so that our background color is this color. Do something along those lines if we want to do that. So we have those options with a little call to button. Can you create a section for mobile and one for desktop? Yeah, you can do that. I generally like to avoid doing duplicate sections because it increases the page loading time. It is a way to do it, and I have done it before on websites when I have no other options. But if you go into your inspector, you might be able to find the element overlay here, and you can go ahead and see if you can find the color section that they have, background overlay. So right here, you can always make this change to be 0% and 100% right here, something along those lines, so that you can actually make those changes live, just so you can see if it works. So, but yeah, I would make my changes in CSS instead of having it duplicate sections, in my opinion. You can go ahead and do whichever way you want to, though. Just a couple lines of code. So all you have to do is just right click on the element, click inspect. Normally brings it up, and you have all of your settings over here in the right hand corner. So basically just copy all of this, put it into your CSS, and just start fiddling with it. That's all I've done. So if I go to style, custom CSS, paste that in. From here you can go ahead and just figure out what you want to do for your CSS. So yeah, so I'm messing all that up. But you get the point. Alrighty. Let's see what we're going to do next. Okay, so we have our services. We have this nice section. Let me reload this because my Chrome doesn't want to work. Okay, so we have the Why, Choose Us, their gallery section, which will have a dedicated page for latest news, testimonials. Let's do a couple testimonials. Add a new section, single column, heading, drag that in. What our customers have to say. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and match the same size. So we have this as this size, and we have this as this size. So let's go ahead and make sure those are good. From here, let's go to testimonials. I talk to myself a lot while I'm making sites, so forgive me. So we drag our testimonial carousel into here, and we have 3 items. So there's a few different skins that we can choose from. I'm going to stick with bubble. Image inline, you have all of those options. I don't use image, so I just get rid of it completely. Slides per view, let's do 3 because I like that number. Slides to scroll, let's do 3 because I want to scroll 3 at a time. And then width, you can always choose the width of your slides. Just get rid of that, and it does it back to normal. So from here, the image, we make that 0, and it gets rid of the images because I don't use images for testimonials. So we have that here. Let's go ahead and style this a little bit. So the slides, the background color, let's make this, well, no, let's not do that. Content, bubble, here it is, bubble background color. We haven't used much of our other colors. So it's very green. I mean, the website's supposed to be green, but how green is it supposed to be, you know? So that's too green. I don't like that. So this is where my other colors that I chose come in handy. This light gray and this darker gray. So I'm just going to choose a light gray just to satisfy. And then for the arrows, for the sides, go ahead and change that over here. Just to be another light green. We'll do that. So I like the way this looks. I'm going to want to put this on more parts of the site, so I have a couple of different options. I can go ahead to the section. One sec while I add some padding above and below. I can go ahead and save this section as an entire template, or I can just save this, the testimonials, as a widget. A global widget. So I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to do testimonials, and I'm going to hit save. So now it's orange and it's a global widget. So we can add that wherever we want on the site and make the change one time, and it'll apply it everywhere. Let's go back, and they have this call to action. So let's also do a call to action at the bottom. So let's do this. We have this. We have. Let's just move this over here. They have this just a 2-column setup, real simple, a heading and a button. So let's go ahead and change this to, let's make this the navy, because let's see how it stands out at least. We'll go ahead and check and see what those do. Add our padding, top and bottom, so we have a little bit of room to play with. Topography, let's make this that size. Ready to get started. Contact us today. Boom. How simple is that? Let's add another column with a button. And we're going to go ahead and swipe that over just a little bit, make this center aligned. Make this background, let's do this to red, because that would look pretty cool. Get rid of that border radius. I don't like that border radius. I want it to be more firm. So that's why I'm getting rid of the border radius. This padding, let's change the padding up a little bit to 15, 50, 15, 50. Just to make the button a little bit wider. You can always change that to be whatever you want it to be. It's up to you guys. And then contact us. And just go straight to the contact us. You know, it'd be really nice if there's a drop down right here where people can select a page. That would be really nice. Maybe add that as a feature. So we've got this, but you can see that it's not centered. So we're going to go ahead and align all of this content center. So let's go to the section, content position, middle. And now it's aligned centered. So it's very easy to do that. And that's also one of the reasons I like Elementor instead of Cornerstone, because Cornerstone doesn't have that. And that, I can't even tell you how many times I use that on websites that I build with Elementor. It's just, it's a necessity. Well, all right, let's go ahead. We've got an hour and a half into this, and we've only built a home page. The other pages should go pretty quick, because the home page always takes the longest, in my opinion, because you're getting everything set up, all of your colors right. So it's always the part that takes the longest. Okay, so we have ready to get started. Contact us today. I like it. Let's go ahead and save this section as the call to action. Bottom. Save. Now, in order to be able to change this everywhere, we're going to go ahead and get rid of this. We're going to add a new section, one column. We're going to go to template, and we can have our template right here. And then we have, I gotta update this and refresh. Hold on one sec. Let's do this. I forgot it doesn't update it live like it does in the library. Call to action bottom. So we have this. Let's make this full width. So there we go. I think I gotta edit this template too. Yeah, let's edit this template a little bit. 30 padding. Okay, so cool, we're good. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. And I'm going to do this a different way. And I'll show you guys what we're going to do with that. So I'll add that in later. And then we'll have to do our footer in just a bit. So we have our home page pretty much done. Let's go ahead and preview it. We've got this. We got our sliding. We got our sliders here. We have our services, professional lawn care, what our customers have to say, and then we'll have our call to action down here at the bottom in just a bit. So there we go, we have our home page done. Let's go back and edit this header just a little bit. From here, let's go ahead and edit this color because I don't like this color. So the hover color, change that to a green. Yep. There's a lot of green. A lot of green on the site. So I don't want this left align. I could either center line it or have this spaced out. I don't have enough. I don't think I have enough content up there to have it spaced out like that. I'm going to try it for now, and if I don't like it, then we'll go back to it. For the icon box, I'm going to change this to be the dark green. No, I don't like that either. Do I? I don't know. What is y'all's opinion about this green, this dark green next to the light green? Maybe I should just keep it. Maybe it's instead of that, maybe it's this background. Maybe I shouldn't have this background here. If I had this single color like that, maybe. Does that make a difference? And we'll have this style over here. Maybe I shouldn't have it that dark. Red doesn't look good. The blue and black. The black looks kind of cool. I can always just make it the same green as the content. Okay, so dark green. And then for the content, we'll make this to match the word liberty. What are your thoughts about that? So if we do that, dark green content, have that like that. I don't hate it. I like it. All right, there we go. So there, all three of them are changed. I need to make this bigger. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. That probably makes a difference to be able to do that. Having the width probably makes a huge difference just in look. Yeah, I think it does. What about using outlined icons? Yeah, I can use outline icons. I'll just go and do let's see if they have any options here. If not, I'll just upload my own. Um, but yeah, so this is pretty cool. I like the left alignment. And then on, yeah, we'll do center alignment here. And then for the width, I'll make that 100%. 100% for that. This will have it just like that. We'll have that just like that. Okay, so yeah, so outlined icons, we can always do that. All we have to do is just do map, color filter, monocolor. We can do an outlined one like these two, or here, or something like that's nice. If we go ahead and get rid of these and add, should we do thick or thin line? I think thick. If we do that, go back to our colors, because we can actually change the color there. And we'll do a dark color. And if we go to our outlines, we can paint the entire collection to be whatever color we want. Of course, we have that. Let's go ahead and back. There we go. So we have that green there. Thin, okay. Let's do thin. Paint the collection. Of course, this doesn't want to work for us now. Let's do a let's do a sample one before we go buck wild with it. Download this as an SVG. These are icon boxes. If I do an image box, not an image box. We'll go ahead and upload this pin SVG. Like I said, SVGs, they make all the difference. 1, 2, 3, 4. New York. I do not live in New York, so let's go ahead and match these. So we have the content is title is 17, description 13. Title 17, description 13, and then let's go ahead and New York. I don't know the zip code for New York, so I'm not going to put that in. So there we go. Something along those lines. I think I like that one much better. I think it's what they have up here. No, right here. Oh, they have really small ones. See, that's too small for me. Kind of looks like it's on accident. I like the thin one. I like the outlined icons as well. So we can go ahead and replace all of those. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do. Let's do this, and we're going to just go back and do phone. Let's do outlined. That one's not bad. Here we go. And then we need to do, what was it, an envelope? Crap, I don't remember. Oh, time. They're not going to have that. We'll do an envelope because they're not going to have hours of operation. Envelope right here. So let's do this. Paint the collection. Download the collection as an SVG. Open these up. So we have our SVGs, message and phone call. So the phone right there, and we'll have our message right there. I like that much better. Definitely looks nice. There we go. All right, cool. Thanks for the feedback, guys. What about instead of the green line up here, we do a red line? How would that look? Let's see what that looks like. Preview. That's not bad. I like it. I think it looks good. I'm still on the fence about this. I might have to make this section, the content width, a little bit smaller, but then we have the centered. But it's still not as bad. I think we're going to go with 745. Keep it like that. Okay. We'll go with that for now. I think we are good on the header, which I'm starting to like this. Oh, I never shared the URL. I'm sure you guys could have gotten it by now. Live link. Sorry about that. It won't let me send it. So it's liberty.wpdevurl.com if you guys want to check it out live with me. Yeah, I forgot to give you guys a link to that earlier. Okay, so we have that done. Ours is looking pretty good. Let's navigate to the About Us. Let's edit this page. My Chrome always does that. It's annoying. Let's trash this sample page real quick. The About Us. Let's edit with Elementor. Okay, so for this garden care site, let's see how they're doing their About page. Oh yeah, that's right. They're doing that. So let's go ahead and we're going. I'm not a fan of page titles. I don't know how you guys feel about them. About page titles. Did I think I might have lost you guys. Hold on one sec. No? Did I? No, we're still there. So I exited out of the stream real quick. Okay, so I'm not a fan of the page titles. So that always puts me into a pickle of what to do. You know what? This will be a good part to show you guys. Yeah, I'll show you guys what I'm thinking about doing. So let's go ahead and add. Okay, let's add a page title real quick. Let's center this up. So earlier I went ahead and I not today, like last week, I posted a link to a template that you all can download, and it kind of had like a overlapping divider stuff going on. So I want to show you guys how I went about doing that, and bear with me because I'm gonna have to remember how to do it. So on the section, I'm going to do it on the top, but if you're gonna do it on the bottom, do it on the bottom. So I'm gonna do a tilt, and I'm gonna have this as a red, and let me go ahead and flip that the other way. Yeah, so I want to do something like this. Let's change the height so it's a little bit less deep. Yeah, it depends on what you're doing. I'm gonna see how well it works with this, and if it doesn't work well, then all of this was for nothing and we wasted a half an hour. But at least you guys get to see how we do this. So we have the shape divider. Let's go ahead and do the background. I think it's the background. We'll do the color here. We'll do the linear. We'll do the location like this. So you can see over here is what I'm looking at right now. And let's do the angle. Let's flip this angle like this. No? Yeah, like this. Let's flip it like this. Let's change the color so it's a little bit easier to see. Something like that. So we have our angle. Let's increase this just a smidge. So something like that. Okay, let's do 8. Let's do 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. See, we're starting to get this little bit of a jagged edge, which I'm not a fan of. 2, 1, 10. So we can always do something like that. And then we have a way to increase the height. So we can do something along those lines. Let's go ahead back to our style, our background location. We can change the location. There we go. That's much better. Let's do that. Change the height back down just a little bit. And then for the background, you know what? We should have did something different. Let's do 73.0.10. I'm going to switch all of our settings back over to here. 73.0.10, opacity 100. This was this color. This was no color. So, sorry, I want to switch that back over. And I want to do an image for back here. Let's see what it looks like with an image. No. No, let's not do an image. Let's do a background color. Increase that. Maybe it might work. I mean, it doesn't look half bad now. Yeah, but not always. I can put a hamburger instead of a menu. Yeah, menus, I'm fine with the menu. Hamburger ones instead, or people don't know what to do with them. I've gotten complaints about them, so it's a headache overall. Okay, so we have this divider look that I had in a template before. Let's see what this looks like. I don't know. Let's fill in the content and see where we are with it, and then we'll go ahead from there. So the About Us, they have their history, which I'm not doing. Another one of these sections, meet our team, stuff like that. Okay, so here's another website that I have built, a lawn website that I built. This is another one I built. It's with Elementor and Astra. We don't have an About Us section on here. Maintenance tips, contact us, things like that. That's all on here. So maybe I'll get rid of the About Us section. Who knows? We'll have a 2-column setup here. When in doubt, do 2 columns with a picture and some text, in my opinion. Maybe make the headline different, like the rest of the title. Maybe add a line in front of the headline. A line in front, like on top, or actually in front over here, or below. I'm all for trying any of them. Text. Like the one I used. Why Moving Squad? Let's see. Lab.colonial fanlines.com. Why Moving Squad? Why Moving Squad? Oh, yes. So is this a headline with an icon, like a minus icon in front of it? Or am I overthinking that? We would also do an animated headline. That would be kind of cool. So is it an icon list? And I might be overthinking this. Let me know. About Us. And then we do a minus. Something along those lines. And then we can center this up. And increase the text. Oh, yeah, CSS. 40 Well, now you know you can do it this way. Maybe try doing it this way. You use the before tag and then use the content. If that's what you did, then that's a pretty good way of doing it. I might just do that because that line's a little thick for me. Okay, so yeah, we can always experiment with that. So when in doubt, just add some images and then some text next to it. You can go from there. I don't need a heading there, so we'll just have it like this. Let's see what this looks like. I don't think I'm going to be a fan of it. You know what? Maybe if I took this and made the shape divider this color, and then the background overlay the red. If it blends in with the nav, it might look better. That could always be an option. Let me know what you think about that one. If we do that, and I could add some padding to the top of About Us, and then from there we can go ahead and just keep that like that. So if I refresh that, push that down a bit, I'm not hating it. It looks a little bit better. What's it look like on mobile? Okay, it's not that bad. Not that bad on mobile. I need to increase the size of the heading though on mobile because that is too small. 40. And then on that one, I'm fine with 40. We could do that. Too much color. I'm also worried about the mobile version. Yeah. Yeah. There's the mobile version. That might be too high. That shape divider might be too high on mobile. But luckily, we can change that. I'm not hating it. I'm not hating that one. It is a lot to take in, but it's unique. I think I might leave that for now unless you guys have a different suggestion. So I think I might leave that for now. Yes. Okay. 1 second. So this isn't just a blank image. Let's do something over here. Lawn team. Doesn't always have to be real. That did not come up the results that I wanted. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to add a border to this image just to make it a little bit different. We'll go with the navy. We'll have that there. There we go. We'll update this. This is updated over here. And like I said, I'm not hating it. I think it looks really cool. Okay. If you guys don't have any suggestions for the top part here, then I'm going to leave it like this. And don't forget, I'm going to have my call to action down here too. Services, let's go to that page. See, now that we have the one page done, it's going to be real quick. Let's go ahead and save this as the page title. Save that. Add a template. Buy templates. Insert. Our services. Alright, so let's go ahead and add a few things here. What do they got? They've got services. How do they list them out? Why choose us? It's like they put this on every page. I don't need to know who your team is on every page. I do like the way this looks. So we could do something similar. And then I'm going to list out services a little bit differently. So let's go ahead and do a new section, a 3-column section with an image in the middle. Let's add some padding to our section first. Padding, let's do 80. And then let's do the icon. Nope, let's do image first. Image box. Image position top. And we're going to right align this. Right, align that. And then on mobile, we'll eventually just center align that too. So let's go ahead and do this. So we have right aligned one here. Then we have a left aligned over here on the left. We'll have that. Let's see if we can find a picture of a lawnmower, like a tall picture. Let's see. Grass. Maybe a couple blades of grass we could put in there. That would be pretty cool looking. Or a plant. Seems kind of boring to put just a plant. This one isn't bad. Let's see what this does. Image, choose your image, herbs. Yeah, sorry. I'm going ahead and update. Keep reminding me to update if I haven't done it, if I haven't done it yet. So when you update an SVG inside of an image, the style automatically is set to 0 for the width, so you have to make sure you turn that up. So make sure you do that. I wish this had an auto update feature sometimes. That would be a nice. So you've got that. We have, let's center this column, content position middle. And then I'm going to go ahead and make my changes to this one. So that way we can go ahead and just duplicate it. So under style, underneath the content, the alignment. For this, I'm going to make this the way it is now. For mobile, I'm going to make this centered. So that we have that. So let's duplicate this. I'm just going to do 2. And then for this one, I'm going to do the same. So this one's going to be style center on the mobile. And then I'm going to duplicate that. There we go. So we have our 4 things here, and then we have that. So let's do let's go back and take off some of this padding up here, because I'm going to add a section above it because I forgot to do the heading. Let's see. How do they? Why choose us? That's what it was called. So let's go ahead and center this up. Why choose us? Let's do a divider underneath. We did 3 weight on the other one. It was this color, and then we did 100 pixel wide and center aligned. So we had that. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Let's go ahead and add a new section. And let's see what I did. For this one over here, for our services, we had a different page for each service. Let's see. What do you got here? Let's see what you submitted here, CodePen. Haha. That's funny. Let me show you. Let me bring it over here into the screen. So being able to have the growing grass would be interesting. Let me refresh it for those who didn't see it. So it just grows. That's pretty cool. It shouldn't take long to add it. I mean, all you have to do is just copy and paste everything. It's a lot to do, a lot to add, but it's pretty cool. It looks a little too fake for me, but I like the idea. If you see here at the bottom, you can see that I added this to this site, so that's pretty cool looking as well. I lost my preview. Hope you guys can still see me. Let me know if you can or not. Let's see. Yeah, go ahead and put it in the chat if you can see my screen or not. Okay, so I've got here, like I said, I've got the grass growing here on the footer, so that was pretty cool for me to add that. And then I've got all of this here. But like I said earlier, I got the services, and each one of them have a separate page. And then from there, I have the background from Subtle Patterns, the lawn care, and some pictures, and then a call to action down here. So it's pretty minimal to add stuff right there. Nothing too much there. So let's go ahead and get rid of some of these. Let's go ahead and get rid of some of these here. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a section that is split into two with padding above and below. And we'll go ahead and add the heading with some text. And then we'll have an image. And in this image, I'm going to add a box shadow. Now, I'm not a huge fan of box shadows, but sometimes they look nice when done well. Style, let's add the background here to that pattern we did earlier. It's pretty nice. So service 1. We have all of our text block here. Let's increase the size of that just a smidge. Copy and paste this because I want 2 paragraphs. And then the button, we're going to make that for contact us today. Or get started. Yeah, let's do get started. And that's going to go to our contact us page. Okay, so we've got that. Contact us. Let's make this a little bit bigger. So we have this set up right here. This is going to be an image of that service. So from here, we can just duplicate this and swap these around. Now, on mobile, these are going to appear weird. So it's image back-to-back images. So if you go to the section that's got the image first and then text second, if you go to the section, go to advanced, and then go to responsive, you can reverse the columns on mobile. So if we go to mobile, it reverses them, which I love. Also, a benefit of Elementor over Cornerstone. So let's go ahead and copy this one, put this one below it, and then copy this one. I'm just putting them in order. So there we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have all of our different services here. So something like that. And then we have our heading here. I'm going to go ahead and update for you guys so you can see it live. And this is what you should see. I might... No, I'm going to keep that. Yeah. So you have your different services. All for you right there to go. Okay, I'm done with the services page. Let's go to the contact us page. Let's get rid of some of these. Edit this page. Edit with Elementor. Okay, let's add our template for the page title section. Contact us. Also, inline text editing, benefit over Cornerstone, which they just announced that they will be integrating into the Cornerstone Builder is inline text. Inline text editing, sorry. Okay, contact us. This client does not have a map, so also don't know what I'm going to do with this map icon up here. They don't have a real location to actually do it, so I might do like a mailing thing for that, to where they can send checks for payments or something like that. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with that. So, like I said, this site might look different than what it looks like now, but you guys catch on. All right, so we need a contact form. The contact information is up here, so we really don't need contact information. So really, let's just add a form real quick. Now, normally I use Gravity Forms, and I have the developer version of it, so I have unlimited licenses. I got to pay every year, all that good stuff. It's got all the different features that I need, but Elementor has it built in. Well, I don't like the interface, and it doesn't keep track of the entries that are submitted unless you use a third-party plugin. I don't like that, but for the people who don't need that functionality, then Elementor Pro Forms work great. But for this one, I'm just going to use the Elementor Pro Forms. I'm going to make this look simple, so I'm going to turn off the labels. I need to give this some padding first because it's too close for me. Okay, alright, so we've got this. We've got the name, email, message. I'm going to add a field for an address because we need to know where they live. So we need to know where to cut the grass. Message, we'll do that. So that's pretty simple form right there. I don't really need any more fields than that. The submit button, I don't like to have that full width because it just bothers me. And then let's go style this up. So the button, I want this button to be a little bit wider, but not completely all the way across. So the 1560 is, I usually do 80. So I usually do 1580. I wish there was a way to control the width of the buttons. That would be pretty cool if we could do something like that. So we've got the button here. Let's go to the form. Just the columns, gap, label, spacing, we don't need any of that. The field, let's go to the text color. I'm going to make that the navy. Typography, background color, we don't need a background color. This border width we do not need. Don't want it. I only want it on the bottom. Let's do 3 pixels. Border color, let's do this. And then we're going to get rid of that radius. You know how much I hate that radius. Okay, so there we go. We've got those 3. And now the button color clashes a little bit. So let's do the background color 0. Text color. Border radius 0. Solid border with a 4 pixel, no, 3, 2, 3. No, I don't like that either. Let's go back. Let's just make this a solid background. Text color, white. Yeah. Spacing. You know what? I'm actually not liking this at all. For the field, I'm going to go ahead and change the background color to that light, subtle color. Maybe. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Gotta do that. Nope, I don't like that as well. I'm in a pickle. Whoa, that's too much green. Let's do, let's make this consistent. What about that? What do we think about that? That's not too bad. Too many outlines for me. I'm not a fan of that. I'll leave it for now. So this is too wide for me, so let's go ahead and adjust the width of the section to be 500 pixels. I like that. So we'll go ahead and keep it like that. Pretty simple. Let's do a text. Let's take off this padding, add a section up here. We're going to do something different. I messed up a little bit. Heading. We can't wait to get started. Let us know below what you need. Something along those lines. Then we'll do a size. We'll do this a little bit smaller because we don't need a huge. I don't know. I have a thing. Like if it's 23 pixels and it looks perfect, I still don't want to do it 23 because 23 is such a weird number. So I'll bump it up to 24, 25 just because that's what I do. Let's put a column in here. And this is going to allow us to have one section so that we don't have to have multiple sections on one page and we can control it a little bit easier. So let's make this 500. So there we go. It's a little bit better. Sorry, let me update this. Keep forgetting to update. Go ahead and you guys can see that live now. Pretty simple site. Let's go ahead and preview these changes. Home. We've got all this. We've got the About section. Services. All of those. And Contact Us. Right there. Now that we've done all of our pages, I usually save my footer for last because I'm not sure what I normally want to do with the footer because there's so many options. And I'm going to show you how many options there are. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go to our footer and add a new template. Global footer. Okay, so let me go ahead and look. So they have so many templates already in Elementor's library. I like the ones that have the logo at the bottom and some of the menu stuff at the bottom, but we don't have a lot of menu items on this website. So we have to find a way to do like a happy medium, which is basically this one right here. I'm going to show you just a second. So we have this one here. Let me go ahead and publish this so that you all can see as I'm changing. So from here we have the main menu. We have the main menu set there. Instead of a phone number here, I want to put the site logo. So we have that there. Let's change the width of this. I actually want to align this to the right. So let's go ahead and change the width of it to 35. And then of course we have now this is gonna be cool. Let me show you a little trick. So you see how we put the year, we put the copyright year, things like that inside of the footer of the website. It lets us know a little bit, when the site was last updated most of the time. But keeping up with those is always such a pain in the butt. And installing a plugin to do it or entering the code inside of your functions file to do that can always be tedious, or you can't find the right one, or you don't want to make the changes, or you're not comfortable with it. Well, Elementor has a dynamic function that was just released in 2.0. If we choose this, if we scroll down to the current date and time, click on it again, go to the date format, and we click custom. We can get rid of all of this and just have a capital Y. Make sure it's capitalized. From here, we'll go back to our settings and go to advanced. We'll have the before. Liberty, lawn, care, and saw. Okay. And then the after, we'll have, actually I need to put, hold on one second. Let me do, yeah, something like that. And then afterwards we can put something along these lines. So there we go. And we can always do a break. Well, we can always have this as a separate one. So we can do Liberty Lawn Care Copyright 2018. The fallback, we'll just put 2018. I mean, it'll just be a year. Most of the time, it's not going to use the fallback, so just have that there like that. And then we can have our text. If we duplicate this, get rid of our dynamic, we could do lots of web design and marketing. So I always have this at the bottom of my site. It's in my contract, so all of my clients know. And then I'll link it to my site. If I remember how to do it. So there we go. We've got that margin. Let's do a negative margin, so it's right up against it. And then we want to get rid of all this because our client doesn't use it, because they don't want to. Alright, so we have that. We have our section here. I don't want this much padding and margins. Maybe I do. There we go. Okay, so there we go. We got that. Oh, I see how they did this. The padding, let's go ahead and change that a little bit. 0. Let's see what this looks like. We'll update this, go to the preview, go to our website, scroll to the bottom, and there we have it. We have a menu, the logo, their copyright, and my little thing that goes at the bottom of the site. Pretty much done with the site now that we have all of the pages pretty much built. I have to go back in later on and fill in all of this content with some of the real content that they're going to give me. But right now we have a good shell to work with, and everything looks great. Everything functions. Next thing to do is to check it on mobile and tablets to make sure everything looks good. Go through and change all of your text titles, your headings, things of that nature, all the sizes for that to make sure they look good. From there, do a live check, submit it to the group. Let all of us in the Astra group, in the Elementor group, critique your beautiful work, and we'll let you know. It's always good to have honest opinions because people see things that you don't see, and I never would have thought to use outlined icons here, and you gave me the suggestion for that, and it looks great. I love it. I'm gonna keep it like this. Do you guys? Let's see. Everything on here is pretty generic, except for the logo. So it could be something that you could just build and have a template as, and send it off to people. So there it is. So the next steps after you go live, I don't know how many of you guys are using Cloudways. Let me know in the chat if you guys are using Cloudways, because if you are, we can go through a little bit on how to do the. I'm off screen right now for a second. Just hold one sec. Liberty Lawn Care. So if you guys are familiar with Cloudways, so all you have to do now is go to the domain management and change this to the actual domain name and hit save. And then make sure your domain name is actually pointing to the IP address of your server right here. So make sure your DNS, your A record's pointed to the public IP. Make sure your domain management, it says, libertylawn.care.com, whatever yours is, and then hit save, and then just do your SSL certificate to be for the main domain name. And once you guys get all that done, and then it will be all good to go. So you guys don't have to worry. It's very easy to launch websites on Cloudways. That's why I always recommend it to everyone who always asks about who should I host with, what's the best hosting company. They're cheap. Their cheapest plan starts at $11 a month or $10 a month. I can't remember. I'm doing like the $11.50 per month. So all depends on your budget. And then it's very easy to launch. One-click installation. I have there's some videos on this channel if you guys want to take a look at those on getting started with basic WordPress stuff if you're new. But for now, this site looks great. Thank you guys very much for helping me build in your feedback throughout the video. If you guys have any questions, I'm around on Facebook most of the time. I don't really see a lot of the comments that come through on YouTube. For some reason, I don't really get notifications, but if you guys catch me in the group, go ahead and PM me there, and I'll be happy to help you guys out. And like I said, thank you guys very much, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I'm probably going to be doing a couple more of these live videos where we're going to be building sites and doing things live, just because I get to answer your questions right then and there, and helping people then instead of having to go back later and figure out what we were talking about. It's always easier to do it then. So have a great day. I hope you guys enjoy this brand new week, and we'll see you guys at the next video. Thanks.